Hello, millionaires. Welcome to the Millionaire Money Podcast, episode 2. Today, we're going to be talking about why working hard alone will not make you a millionaire and the exact shift that you need to make to start cooking with some gas and seeing results financially. Stay tuned. All right, y'all, let's get into this conversation. So many of you guys have most definitely, all of you have heard the phrase, you need to work blank to make money. Put it in the chat, put it in the comments. Some podcast places allow you to comment, some don't. So if they do, great. If they don't, sorry for that. But we're going to be interactive with this thing. I want to see that y'all are tracking with this, but y'all have heard the phrase, you need to work blank to make money. You need to work hard to make money. Or you've heard phrases like, it is hard to become a millionaire. The first $1 million is the hardest. For some of you, if you're an immigrant or whatever it is, it's like, it's hard in this country. Whatever it is, all of us have heard these phrases that insinuate that making money is a hard, difficult thing. Now, here's the thing about that, right? So we'll talk more about like what the truth is and da-da-da-da-da. But I want you guys to understand the context of what this is creating in a lot of people. You'll hear people say things like, so what do you got to do if you want to build wealth? You want to become a multimillionaire? You got to grind. You got to slave. You got to work hard. You got to do 3 jobs, or you got to work that overtime. You got to have the multiple side hustles. I can't tell y'all how many people have come to us from multiple side hustles that have almost killed them. Right? But it's like this way of approaching building wealth that kills you. It's like get rich or die trying. And then there's people that actually get sick trying. Let's even leave it there. Right? But you'll also see this in that space of building wealth, getting debt free and all of that. For example, you don't get ice cream until you're debt free. You can't you can't take time off. You can't rest with your family until you've hit this goal. And guys, I can't tell you how many different contexts, coaches, it's everywhere online. You cannot sleep until you've built wealth. And here's why I wanted to kick off this entire podcast with this conversation. I want to kick off this podcast with this conversation of you have to grind, you have to slave, you have to kill yourself in order to make money. Because guys, I want you to think. I am here to help you think, y'all. Take a moment, pause, and think. Ask yourself a couple of questions. I'm going to ask y'all a couple of questions. Write your answers down wherever you're watching this, okay? I know some of you guys know this podcast is on YouTube, so you can go there and write your comments if you're like, oh my gosh, I really wanted to write my comments, and your podcast platform doesn't let you do that. But how many people do you know who work hard and are stuck financially? Be honest. Answer yourself. Even think to your parents. How hard did your parents work? Were they able to leave you a true lasting financial legacy? This isn't knocking them. This isn't knocking anybody else. But I just want you guys to get out of the do mode and the stuff that you're being fed all over the place and start to think and ask yourself these questions. So first, how many people do you know who work very hard and are still stuck where they are, whatever their level is? And now, because I know that many of you write down the number, everyone, this many people, okay, just a few, whatever it is, you're going to write it down. But I also want you to think to yourself, how long have I been working as hard as I am working and not seeing it add up? Be honest. Guys, one of the things you will notice about this podcast and about the conversations that we're going to be having is transformation requires transparency. If you cannot be honest with yourself first about where you are, you can never change. Ever. Why? Because you won't see what you need to change. And there are many people, but I mean, that's a conversation for another podcast, another episode. But there are many people who can't answer these simple questions truthfully. And if you don't answer these questions truthfully, and I guess it's necessary for me to talk about that because we're already inside, we're already having the conversation. And it's like, if you don't have the foundation of being able to be gut level honest with yourself about where you are financially, then this podcast is going to be useless to you. Okay. And so I'm pausing the questions to get your mind and get your heart into the conversation, guys. Get out your pen, get out your paper, write this stuff down. How long have you been working hard, waking up early, staying up late, doing all the things? And what do I have to show for it? And it's not just about the money. It's about the freedom. Right? Like, because some of you will say, oh, I have this much money in my account. I have this over there. I have that over there. But are you really happy? Are you actually spending time with the people that you love? What do I have to show for it? And then for some of you, it's like financially. You get to the end of the year, you look at your taxes and you see how much money you earned that year, and you yourself are confused. Because you're like, what's in my accounts? Like, I don't get it. How on earth can the government be telling me that this is the money that came through my account, and yet this is what I have to show for it? Nothing, or barely anything. And so you want to ask yourself, how long have I been working this hard, and what do I have to show for it? Honestly. The third question that you want to ask yourself, guys, is this: how hard can you work? How hard can I work to truly build wealth? And that may be a rhetorical question. That may be a little bit of a trick question, because the truth is, you can't work hard enough to build wealth. Guys, you can work hard enough to live paycheck to paycheck. You can work hard enough to just get by. You can work hard enough to just kind of squeeze through your days, squeeze through the bills. But when you start having a conversation about legacy, about building, about leaving something behind, about multiplying money, you can't work hard enough for that. When you start having a conversation about becoming a multi-millionaire, you can't work hard enough for that. Think about it, guys. Think about it. Just be practical. If you measure your earning capability based on the time that you put into the work that you do, and this applies for you whether you run a business or you are in a career. If you measure your wealth building capability based on the amount of time that you're investing into the process, there's a limitation. Why? Because we've all got 24 hours. So even if you work morning until night, there are only so many hours in a day for you to work and earn money. And so, guys, do you see how flawed this way of thinking is? Because what happens? What happens to the person who lives this way? Okay? And let's once again, let's be real. What happens is you literally set yourself up to fail, because in your mind, you are thinking, and for a lot of us, this is a subconscious conversation. This is a conversation that we never actually have with ourselves. We're just doing it because we're programmed to do this. And so in your mind, you're thinking, if I just work hard enough, if I just show up, if I just give, if I just do enough, we're going to have wealth. We're going to be comfortable. We're going to have more than enough. We're going to have that freedom. We're going to have that. And so what do people do? They set themselves up to fail. Because what ends up happening is they work hard and they're still not more than enough. So what do? They work harder. They give more time. They do the overtime. They take up every shift. If they're running a business, they give up their lunches. They give up their evenings. They start giving up the weekends. It's like they throw themselves into this work, and they think the more they give, the more they should be getting out of it. But because you have trained yourself that you need to work hard to make money, your brain will actually begin to create a dynamic in a situation where you have to keep working harder and harder, even just to keep what you have. And so you have people who do this for day after day, month after month, year after year, until they burn out. And now you burn out and you can't help anybody. And the thing that gets me, the reason why this is the first conversation we are having, guys, is because a lot of the people that are telling you, grind, give, just do, oh, you're being lazy if you can't show up and do the extra. And I'm not saying you don't work hard. I'll talk about working hard. But a lot of the people that are telling you to work at the level where you become a slave to money, you become a slave to work, where work becomes your master, are not there when you burn out. Not if, when. Because guys, hear me and hear me real good. You are a human being. You're a human being. And many of us forget that sometimes, and we start to think we're machines. And you know, you've heard that, oh my gosh, girl, you're a machine. Yo, bro, you're a machine. And you hear these phrases and you're like, yeah, I'm a machine. And you just want to keep pushing. And I know it, guys. I'm not listening to me. Please, please, please. The stuff I'm telling you is the stuff I had to learn the hard way a lot of the time. Because I had this mentality. And so I worked and I worked and I worked. And I literally used to I would sleep 3 hours a day. And I was proud of that. I thought I was the bee's knees for sleeping 3 hours a day. I was like, nobody can touch my level of commitment and dedication and hard work. I sleep 3 hours a day. Watch me go. But guys, here's what would happen. I would work and work and work and not rest until I got sick. Then I'd be sick for a week, and that was my forced rest. And then I would work and work and work. Literally, that was my cycle. But in the middle of that, you would think that I built wealth. Nope. You would think that I had long-lasting impact. Nope. No. None. But here's what ends up happening. You're not a machine. You're a human being. You overwork, you overextend, you overgive of your time and your energy and your resources, everything. And then you burn out and you can't help anybody. But then you end up not being able to even help yourself. You end up not being able to even help your family, like the people that are closest to you that you love the most. That's why this is the first conversation, guys. Because if you do not pay attention to this, if you get tired, some of you, like guys, we've worked with so many different dynamics. We've worked with couples where there's a single income household. We've worked with single parents. We've worked with married couples. We've worked with business owners, career professionals. We've worked with so many demographics, every demographic you can imagine. And the one thing I know is that your life is not in an island. You are not an island to yourself. If you break down, guys, there are real people that will be impacted by that breakdown. And for some of you, you're like, yeah, but Toyin, my children are grown. They're out of my house. I'm single. Nobody's really relying on me. So even if Toyin, I'm ready to grind, because even if I break down, there's no one relying on me. But here's the thing. If you break down, someone's going to have to come and take care of you. And we've seen this stuff happen, guys. We've seen it. Where adult children who have their own families, who are trying to, they don't even know how to figure out their own finances for their children, are having to step in and take care of their parents because their parents were grinding and working so hard that they burnt out. And so I'm saying this not because it's not good to take care of your parents. You should take care of your parents. But if you're the parent, you need to listen and hear me and say, no. It doesn't just not affect anybody. It does. It does. So whatever your demographic is, but Toyin, I'm so young, like I'm young, I don't have children, I'm by myself, I'm single, there's nobody that I need to be looking out for. It's the same thing, y'all. If you burn out, if you get sick, it will impact somebody on this planet because there's somebody that loves you. But it's not just about the other people, it's about you. The reason you have to understand this is because a lot of people think that they're just lazy. Seriously. You overwork, you grind, you push, you're exhausted. And you think, well, why can't I just muscle through this thing? Why can't I just push myself a little bit more? Why am I so lazy? And it's so funny. There's the Nigerian phrase. You people have already heard me say, we are out here and I'm bringing you every part of what I have, right? But I'm Nigerian. And there's this phrase that says, I tire, no be lazy. That's what we say. I tire, no be lazy. It means when you're tired, it's different from being lazy. But the thing about being that level of tired is when it's not necessary. That's what gets me about this conversation, guys. There are so many people that are overdoing everything. They're wasting time, they're wasting their life, they're wasting their energy doing output, putting output when they could be working smart instead of just working hard. You hear people tell you what you need to do is have multiple side hustles. If you have multiple side hustles, then you'll be able to pull in and da-da-da-da-da. Listen, guys. Multiple side hustles is not going to do it if you are not working smart. Am I saying don't do many things? Don't have multiple streams of income? Absolutely have multiple streams of income. But there's a way to do it, and there's a way that will kill you trying to do it. And a lot of people don't invest the time to learn the process. They just throw themselves at the action. And that's one of the things that I've noticed about the difference when I started. I'm going to share with you guys in this podcast a lot of the differences that I noticed in myself when I started getting around hectomillionaires. Hectomillionaires are people who are just under billionaires. And I started noticing the way that they thought, the way that they spoke, the way that they acted, the way that they made decisions. And there were some glaring differences. Glaring differences. Did they work hard? Yes. But did they get rest? Yes. And many of you guys, you're doing the overtime at your job. But still, when they are choosing who they are going to promote in that company, your name doesn't come on the list. But you're picking up the slack for everyone and everything. There is something deeper going on. And if you don't pay attention to that, if you don't wake up to that, you will literally waste years just running. And guys, it's just like a hamster on a wheel. A hamster just run. Then they stop, they look around, they're in the same place. They run. They stop, they look around, they're in the same place. But that's a hamster. That's fine for them. You can't afford to do that. You have a life to live. And one of the biggest things, guys, that I believe is that you are not put on this planet to work for money. You're probably going to hear me say this every episode. Probably not. But it's the truth. And it's something I very much believe. You were not put here to work for money. You were put here to live a life, to have your calling, to make a difference, an impact. I don't care what that is, whether it's in your family or it's on stages. You were put here for a reason, and it was not to cover your phone bill. It was not to pay your staff team. Because some of you are going, yeah, but Toyin, my bills, I'm not thinking about my bills, but you're working to cover things. I was thinking when I was writing the outline for this podcast and I was thinking about this podcast, I remembered there was a client that came to us, and it was about over a year ago. And when she came to us, she got the work hard thing. And it was her badge of honor. It was her thing. It was like, I work hard. This is what I do. She was working like 100-hour weeks. She was not taking lunches. She was not taking weekends. She hadn't taken a vacation in years. And she was just like, this is what it is. But the problem was her results, no matter how much she was working, were going lower and lower and lower and lower. So she came to us and she's like, Toyin, I'm already a millionaire, but there's a problem here. There's a problem here, Toyin. Because I am working and I am working and I am working. And I'm watching my result quota reduce. I am watching my KPIs just tank. And she's like, there is something sabotaging me. She's like, I don't need someone to tell me that there's a problem. There's a real problem here. And we showed her how to shift out of this work hard only mode and into a blend where she is able to work hard and work smart and rest and breathe. And between then and now, within a year of her coming to us, she had her first $1 million cash collected within that year, but she took a month off, probably more than a month off. But she took a month that was like within that. But she started having her weekends off. She started taking her lunches. She just started enjoying her life, living a life, actually living, being alive. And so that's the first thing that I want to say to you guys. I want to share with you. So, what is the truth here? The truth here is, one, do you need to work hard to succeed? Of course. Yes, you need to work hard to succeed. There's no get rich what's that phrase that people say, guys, one thing you're going to learn about me, I mix up all the pop slogans, all the pop culture things. I didn't grow up with pop culture in my frame worldview, so I mix the words up, but that's all good. You're going to learn to love it, all right? There is no get rich quick scheme that works without punishments. There's get rich quick schemes that will work, but there's punishment to it. And even if you're not caught on earth, it's not hidden. So no, you do need to work. You do need to show up. You can't be lazy about this. You can't just sit on your couch and eat popcorn and watch Netflix and think that all of a sudden one day you're going to become a multimillionaire. No, that's not going to happen. Right? You need to be able to show up. You need to be able to get stuff done. You need to be able to do the work. But working hard alone will not do it for you. You have to learn how to work smart. You have to learn how to think. And I mean that. Working smart is a mental thing. Working hard is the physical. Working smart is in your brain. And I need y'all to hear me. Because when you can learn how to sit with your own brain and figure out why your brain keeps doing the same things over and over and over again, and you can begin to shift the way that your brain thinks so that you start receiving ideas. I remember there was a woman that came to us last year during the shutdown, the lockdowns that had just started, and she was running a business that supported massage therapists. And if any of you know about the lockdowns, you know that if there's an industry that got impacted by the lockdown, it was the massage therapy industry, okay? And when she came to us, she was like, Toyin, money is literally flying out my window. That was her thing. She was like, money is flying out of my window right now in my business. What do I do? How do I stop this bleed and how do I shift? And she's like, my brain is stuck. Like, I'm just stuck. Everything is just stuck. And so we were like, okay, cool. Because she was trying to muscle through. I'll just work harder. I'll just show up more. I'll just give more. I'll just. And we begin to help her deconstruct why her brain was in this state of fight or flight. And she's able to help her brain begin to think on a different level. And all of a sudden, she receives an idea, guys. And it's an idea for her business. She implements this idea 2 weeks after coming into our process and learning how to shift her brain and think on a different level. 2 weeks in, she has a $67,000 weekend. And I remember she came to us and she was like, oh my gosh. She's like, this is the highest amount of cash we've collected in one weekend ever in my business in the middle of a lockdown, and I specialize in massage therapy. What is this? But it wasn't just that. She just messaged me literally yesterday and said, hey, Toyin, just wanted to let you know, just for this year, this is the month of what, October or something? This is October. She said, for this year, we already hit $1 million cash collected this year by September. I just wanted to pop in and just let you know. Why? Because building wealth is about thinking differently. Building wealth is about learning how to think. Building wealth is about being able to identify where you are sabotaging yourself. Guys, this is what I had to do. This is how I shifted. This is how our people shift. We pause the grind. We pause the stuff and we get them to sit down and think and figure out what has been keeping them stuck. Guys, listen to me. Your first $1 million or your 99th, your 87th, your 52nd, your 100th $1 million depends on your brain. I remember talking to a mentor of mine as my shift had already begun. And I told him, I was like, I'm going to become a millionaire first I said I was going to become a millionaire in a year. I told a couple of my mentors, I told all my friends, I already told you guys this in the intro podcast, but I said, I'm going to become a millionaire in a year. And so the first year I wasn't quite there yet. Second year, I wasn't quite there yet. We're very close. And then by the third year, we did it by like April. And so I was like, woohoo. So I'm talking to him and he was just like, oh, it must have been a grind. And like the expectation was that like, Toyin, you must have been doing this. So he's telling me all these things that I must have done. And I was like, actually, I got to take 4 months off. So I kind of slowed down the process myself because the first year I took 6 months off. And then the second year I took 3 months off because I needed to. I was taking care of my family. The first one was a choice. But it's like I took this time off. I take retreats. I go for a week and I just go seek the Lord for myself because that's what juices me up. That's what I'm here to do. It's to hear from God and show up that way. And so I'm sharing with him the process and he was just like confused. Like he's like, and for him, it became this conversation about like the world has changed. And it's the truth. Right? Like in the beginning, back in the day, you needed to just grind because there weren't opportunities out there. There wasn't Google for you to learn a different thing or a different way to do things than what you already knew. In fact, back in the day, people would take on the occupation of the person that gave birth to them. So if somebody was a carpenter, their children became carpenters. That if someone was a blacksmith, the whole family were blacksmiths. You get what I mean? And so it's like that was the mentality then, and many of us are still living in that mentality where you have to do things the way the people who came before you have done them, and you're missing the core of the process, as my people say, the cocoa of where we are in this generation, which is the people who think the deepest have the highest levels of success. And so I'm doing this episode focused on the fact that, guys, you need to wake up if you're going to build wealth. You need to wake up. You need to wake up. People think that there's only two options. People think it's either you grind, you slave, you give, you pour out until you're miserable. I call it being a miserable millionaire. You see a lot of them out there. Miserable millionaires. They have the millions, but they have no joy. They're not happy. They're not spending time. They're not chilling. They're not just having fun anymore. There's no more fun. And so we think that it has to be either that, this grind, this give, this overwork, gra. Or the person says, I just want to enjoy my life. So because I just want to enjoy my life, I'm not even going to pay attention to my finances. I know that things suck. I know that I don't have what I need. I know that every single month I'm thinking about how am I going to cover what I need to cover, but at least I'm happy. At least I'm not stressed. I am stressed about the money, but I'm not stressing myself about the money. And I see so many people who will say that, like, I'm ignoring my debt because I just don't want to feel stress. And guys, that is a trap in itself, because that debt will not disappear. That struggle financially isn't just gonna magically become better one day. And it breaks my heart because so many people genuinely think if I just ignore it, so I'm not gonna overwork because I don't wanna kill myself. I've already done that and I'm so tired and I don't wanna do that anymore. So I'm not gonna overwork, but it's just gonna get better. Why? It just has to get better. And I'm looking and I'm like, oh, if only you were in some of the conversations that I have had with people who believe that all of their lives and it never got better. Guys, money you can make, you can lose, you can make it back again. But time, you can't get time back. You can't get your life back. You can't get time with your family back. You can't get these moments that you miss in the grind or in ignoring and not being present to what's happening. So we think these are the only two options, but I'm here to tell every single one of you that there is a third option. You are able to build wealth, to work hard with rest and ease and flow. It is possible, it's available, but you have to learn how to do that. And so the first thing that I want you guys to do is make a commitment to yourself to stop majoring on the minors, to wake up and get out of the just daily grind, the daily give, what do I need to do? What's my to-do list? And just run. To pause and take time to focus on what am I trying to create here? And is what I'm doing actually creating that? And so that's the first thing that I want you guys to do. And if you are watching this and if you're making this commitment, then type it in the comment section wherever you are, whether you're on, whatever podcast platform you're listening to, or if you're listening to this on YouTube. Write down, this is my commitment to me about my shift. And if you are here and I'm ready to actually get that support to figure out why, because some of you have already done this before, but you find yourself back in the pattern and you don't know why you keep coming back to, I have to grind to make money. So if you're ready to shift that from a subconscious level, then feel free to go right ahead and book a free conversation with my team. And let's see whether we can help you identify exactly what mindsets are causing this in your life. And once we identify it, the next thing that we do is we show you exactly how to shift it. And then what we also do is we now talk about what type of hard work would help you build wealth. So we help you to actually create a customized personal financial freedom plan that would work for your job or your business, your model, your industry, your sector, whatever that is. And so if you are ready to finally look in the mirror and be real with yourself about the way that you have been overworking and finally find a way to work smart instead of just working hard, go ahead, book a call with my team. Let's get on the phone. Let's figure out how to help you shift, and let's do it ASAP. So not just that, guys, I'm so excited. There's so much that I want to talk to you all about. So if you haven't yet, make sure that you subscribe to this podcast. Make sure that you hit follow or whatever it is that they tell you to do, so that even ask them to tell you to give you notifications. If the place that you are in allows notifications, tell them, please tell me when next this woman is speaking, because I need to hear it. I need and I'm ready and I want to shift. I love you guys, and I'm going to see you guys next week. Bye. Hey millionaires, thanks for tuning in to today's show. If you want to subscribe, there's a little picture of me right here. Click on that. And if you want to have a free financial breakthrough session with my team, then you can go on ahead and click on the button right here or visit moneymindsetshift.ca/call. I'll see you guys on the next show. Bye-bye.